Take a good look at this. It's one of the most sacred and mysterious symbols in all of human history, the SHREE Yantra. But what if it's not just a symbol for meditation? What if it's a literal map? A practical guide to unlocking superhuman abilities? And maybe, just maybe, even a deathless state?
You know, our journey today starts somewhere unexpected. Not in an ancient temple, but in a totally barren modern desert. This quote you're seeing, it describes the aftermath of an event that it defies all logic. An event that hints at a mysterious power, and it grounds this entire exploration.
So what exactly was this miracle in the desert? To really get it, we need to rewind the clock back to 1990, to a huge, dry lake bed right in the middle of Oregon. So picture this, August 1990. People wake up to find a massive, perfectly carved SHREE Yantra, 13 miles wide, etched into the desert floor. It literally appeared overnight. Now, investigators were stumped. They eventually concluded it had to be man-made. But here's the kicker. The effect was otherworldly. This barren, dead land, it began to bloom. Grass sprouted. Plants that hadn't been seen for decades started to grow. It was like the drawing itself was breathing life back into the earth. Which begs the question, how on earth can a drawing change reality?
Well, to even begin to answer that, we've got to turn to a really unique source. We're going to hear from someone who argues that for centuries, pretty much everyone has been reading this ancient map completely wrong.
So meet Osman, who calls himself the blind Muslim yogi. Now, after 50 years of studying with masters from all over the world, his take on this doesn't come from some dusty old books. Nope. It comes from his own direct lived experience of the states of consciousness that he claims this very diagram is a map for.
And here it is, his central claim, the key to this whole thing. The SHREE Yantra isn't just a pretty picture to focus on during meditation. He says it's a precise roadmap. It actually maps the journey of something called Kundalini, this incredibly powerful dormant energy at the base of the spine, as it awakens and moves up through the body, leading to a total transformation.
Okay, so if it's a map, how do we read it? Well, this is where it gets really fascinating. According to Osman, the very first thing we have to do is correct a huge mistake that almost everyone makes when they look at this thing. All right, take a look at the outer frame. Most people, most interpretations, call this a square with 4 gates. But Osman points out something that's kind of obvious once you see it. There are only 3 lines. He argues it's not a containing square at all. It's an open, expanding triangle. And trust me, this isn't some small detail. It changes everything. That open triangle, he says, represents feminine kinetic energy, what yogic traditions call Shakti, the active, creative force of the entire universe. And the fact that it's open is so important. It means this energy can't be contained. See, this isn't a static drawing, it's a map of a dynamic, expanding journey. Now let's get to the core of the map, those 9 interlocking triangles. Osman says these represent a journey through the body's main energy centers, or chakras. The 5 downward-pointing triangles, those map the journey through the material chakras, where our consciousness is all tied up with the physical world. But the 4 upward triangles? This is where we take a giant leap into the purely spiritual. These 4 upward triangles, they map out the highest states of consciousness you can imagine. The first one is the third eye, where you can supposedly see beyond the physical into the astral plane. The second one is a spiritual opening right at the crown of your head. The third is samadhi, a state of just blissful union with everything. And the fourth, nirvikalpa samadhi, is even beyond that. It's a state of total non-dual oneness where the very sense of you as a separate person just dissolves into the universe. So what about those 3 circles surrounding the triangles? Well, they represent the vehicles for our consciousness. The idea is that you progress from identifying with your physical body to your energy body, and then finally to a light body. And it's at this third stage, according to the source, where these seemingly impossible abilities like levitation can actually start to happen. Okay, so what about all those lotus petals? According to Osman, they're not just for decoration. They represent sacred sounds or mantras. The inner layer of 8 petals, that means you're on the path. But as he puts it, you're only halfway there. But when you reach the outer 16 petals, that signifies mastering the complete mantra and with it achieving your full power. So full power and enlightenment are one thing, but where does this map ultimately lead? I mean, what's the end game?
Well, the destination is probably the most profound and controversial claim of this whole thing.
This is it, the ultimate destination of the map. The end goal isn't just some fleeting spiritual experience or a state of mind. It's an actual, physical transformation into what these yogic masters call the deathless body. And just to put this into perspective, Osman has this really powerful line. He says, even when you achieve a state where you feel timeless, where you can see past, present, and future all at once, that incredible mind-bending state is just a milestone. You're only halfway there. The real destination is so much further.
So what does that final destination look like? We are talking about abilities that sound like they're straight out of science fiction. The power to levitate, to literally stop and even reverse the aging of your physical body, and to consciously choose the moment you leave it. Legends even talk about figures like Mahavatar Babaji, who is said to have lived for centuries in a youthful body, as a real-world example of this state.
But hold on, how does a drawing on a piece of paper, or, in a desert, actually do anything? There's gotta be a missing ingredient, right? A diagram is just a diagram until it's activated. And this is the missing ingredient, the yantra, the diagram. Think of it as the physical container. But the mantra, the sacred sound, that's the energy you pour into it. According to this theory, whoever created that Oregon diagram didn't just draw it. They must have infused it with the right mantra, locking that power into the land itself, which then radiated that life-altering energy out into the desert. And while this might all sound like pure mysticism, the source suggests it's actually just a science that we don't fully understand yet. A science of frequency, geometry, and consciousness. And you know what? It's an idea that modern quantum physics is just now beginning to explore. This principle that our observation and our intention can actually alter physical reality. So we're left with this question. From a 13-mile symbol that can seemingly turn a desert into an oasis, to an ancient map that promises to transform the human body itself, can a combination of geometry and sound really, truly alter our reality? The map is there. The real question is whether anyone can still learn how to read it.